However, part of the danger is that sweet-smelling flavors such as watermelon yum yum are alluring to children. Experts say the risk is that they could drink the nicotine, which could be toxic or fatal. Park volunteers used to count those visitors by pencil and paper. Now, with the help of these new infrared sensors Maymont installed last year, they can reliably count the number of visitors for the first time ever.
Good evening, Matthew.
Good evening, Shanique. It happens a lot, posting illicit pictures of your ex online. What's even more shocking is that it's legal in every state except California and New Jersey. The Live Safe app is definitely a fast and user-friendly way to get in contact with the police. By simply opening up the app, you can hit call the police and they can GPS to your location immediately.
Insight's Matthew Hall is in our newsroom to tell us more. Good evening, Matthew.
Good evening, Terrence. Doctors say that these small containers can be potentially dangerous in the wrong hands. Little hands, like the ones of your small child.
Mother of 2 children, Stephanie Atkins, brings her kids to e-cigarette shop RVA Vapes at least once every 2 weeks. Her boyfriend owns the shop.
There's all kinds of flavors. I mean, from Nana Pie to dipped strawberries.
Atkins says that she's aware that the liquid can be dangerous to children if they are left unattended to around the bottles, but she feels that parents have to educate their kids about the danger as well. The liquid is a flavored nicotine that smokers of electronic cigarettes pour into the devices to smoke.
However, part of the danger is that sweet-smelling flavors such as watermelon yum yum are alluring to children. Experts say the risk is that they could drink the nicotine, which could be toxic or fatal.
Dr. Ruddy Rose of the Virginia Poison Control Center said that he has received several calls about accidental poisonings from the e-liquid.
But I mean, these products have been out now a couple of years, and so it's as they gain popularity and use, then we will increasingly see calls to the poison centers for accidental exposures.
Rose says that these bottles contain up to 40 milligrams of nicotine and that just 4 to 5 milligrams could be extremely hazardous to a child.
We have had a couple of children that have gotten enough where they've had to be admitted to the hospital, but fortunately no really bad outcomes.
Still, Atkins says she has never run into an issue with her kids around the bottles.
At the house, we keep them up high on a shelf. Not so much for the kids, but for the dogs.
The Food and Drug Administration does not currently regulate the e-cigarettes. Back to you, Randy. Henrico resident Darcy Wilson and her family say they visit Maymont a few times a year. Wilson is just one out of another 500,000 visitors who have contributed to making Maymont the #1 visited place in Richmond.
Well, my granddaughter loves to come to see the animals, and I do too.
Park volunteers used to count those visitors by pencil and paper. Now, with the help of these new infrared sensors Maymont installed last year, they can reliably count the number of visitors for the first time ever. According to a tally done by Richmond Region Tourism in 2013, Maymont topped the list for most visited attraction. Maymont's Kathy Rosenberg says those numbers are important to Maymont's operations.
We rely on donations so heavily. The Maymont Foundation has to raise all of the money for the upkeep, and so those numbers help us go to county and city officials and request funding from them.
Rosenberg stressed the importance of visitor donations, which makes up close to 40% of Maymont's $3.4 million operating budget. Maymont looks to continue to bring in guests from all around the world to entertain and to even educate.
We just really hope that our guests enjoy exploring Maymont and really using Maymont for building memories.
The Richmond Regional Tourism Service says the top 5 most visited attractions were the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts in 2nd place, the Children's Museum of Fine Arts in 3rd, Lewis Ginter Botanical Garden in 4th, and finally the Three Lakes Nature Center and Aquarium in 5th place. Take Back the Night brings awareness to sexual assault, so VCU's Sexual Assault and Violence Education Student Organization held its annual Take Back the Night event April 25th. The event included various speakers and performers and award presentations to VCU Police Chief John Venuti, among others. Rape victims were given the chance to share their stories during an emotional survivor speak out. The event ended with a march through the streets of Richmond, spreading awareness about sexual assault. Do you have an interest for foreign films? The French Film Festival is coming to Richmond at the end of the month. Insight's Zarmina Wasim is in the studio with its coordinator, Peter Kirkpatrick.
The Lewis Ginter Botanical Garden is now hosting its annual showcase of butterflies called Butterflies Live.
Wow, Joshua. Garden, butterflies, waterfall. Looks like a good place to take a date.
I'll be out there the first sign of sunshine. I got mine called.
I'll be out there once I get a date. That's it for this edition of VCU Insight. Make sure to check out our website at insight.vcu.edu. A major change made to VCU's final exam schedule is leaving some students racing for extra study time. The event is happening near campus, is causing confusion among students. Insight's Teresa Galasso is in the newsroom with more on the story. Good evening, Teresa.
Good evening, Matthew. A bicycle race is bringing over 800 people to Richmond. This race is cutting directly through VCU's campus and is causing a change to final exam schedules.
Insight's Matthew Hall is in the studio with this inspirational student.
I'm here in the studio with VCU student Jensen Larrymore. He's here to discuss his recent accomplishments and new model of cooking. Jensen, thank you for joining us today.
You're very welcome, Matthew.
So, as a result of a motorcycle accident that actually happened about 7.5 years ago, it left you paralyzed from the waist down. So can you just tell us about that story and how you've not let that hold you back?
Well, sure. I was living in Maui at the time, and I got hit by an underage driver who was out having a good time.
Now, you're also receiving an award here at VCU, the Presidential Award for Multicultural Enrichment and Awareness. So can you just speak about that and what that means for you and a little bit about what you do with the
absolutely.
disabled?
Well, the PACME Award has been, an incredible gift.
I've been speaking with Jensen Larrymore, VCU student. Jensen, thanks for being here with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.